leave anybody out, but this is actually real. That's right. This is episode 2. You thought there was only going to be one episode? Mm-mm. This is true. This is a fact. We are training hard. And, yeah. This is what's happening. Where? Okay, there we go. Can I use my controller now? There we go. This game doesn't love you being in full screen and then, like, tabbing out. Okay, I think what I'm going to do, at least for the first week, is just play STS first and then Max Chaos second. Oh, whoops, I don't have my note. I have my notepad open, but it's in the wrong screen. Hold on. Okay. So, what I'm going to try to do is run STS first and Max Chaos second, just because the thing about the two, theoretically, if you just ran Max all the time, you should be fine. The problem is if you do that, you might start forgetting subtle things like, oh yeah, this enemy drops a purple shard. Oh yeah, this is where accessory locations are, and so on and so forth. So like, and then if you don't run Max, you'll forget like where item locations are. You'll forget where like stuff is in the walls, and you'll forget logical like stuff like, oh, I could go there, and then this could have this, and then this could have Zangetsu and all this other stuff. So playing both is good. I wish there was a better way to practice, but I think what's going to end up happening is Mondays I have less time. Yeah, I have way less time on Mondays, so it's like get home, eat, practice, go to bed. That's basically what's happening on Monday. So I'm probably gonna do like STS back to back on Monday. I'm gonna save MCs back to back for Sunday, and then I'm gonna do 1 and 1 the other days. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I think that will be fine. I have less time on Thursday as well, but also I have a way shorter drive, so I can get home sooner and on quicker, and then get the 2 seeds done, and then that. So now if I do this for the next 5 weeks, I should have if I do every Sunday, that's 5 days a week. That is 2 seeds a day, so that's 10 seeds a week. That's 40 seeds total, minus 2 because I have to drive and travel on Thursday. So I won't be playing that Thursday of the marathon, the 12th. I will be traveling to the marathon on that day. So that's 38 practice rounds minimum. Now, there's going to be some nights where maybe I get some faster ones and I play more. And then there's going to be some Sundays where I play max STS, more than 2 maxes or something. So I think that's what I'm going to go for. I think that's the initial plan. I might adjust it as we go, but here we are. Here's our STS settings. I will explain everything as I go, as a solo commentary practice, as normal. So if you're looking to watch these for just practice, no qualms if you mute the audio, because it's gonna be a lot of the same thing. It's just gonna be me refining what I'm gonna say and like what I like the sound of, and then I'll probably eventually write more detailed notes and just try to follow a script, not like a perfectly written script, but like a tighter outline, basically. All right, so here we go. This is what makes the run. This is what makes the this STS. The category stands for same type shuffle. The reason we call it that is because of this key right here, retain type. Everything else is fairly standard. What this does is this locks a lot of items to only be shuffled amongst other similar items. So that means a chest that has a weapon in it will only be shuffled with other chests that have weapons in it. A purple shard that drops from an enemy will only shuffle to other enemies that also drop purple shards. Key items will also only rotate between their own locations. Don't pay too much attention to this flag. This doesn't actually determine the pool items in the pool in the same rate as these 2 things do, because unfortunately the way this key item shuffle will work is it will shuffle all items that can get you progression, and sometimes those are shards, and that's not what we want. We want a more controlled experience where we know where things are going to be, And you know, knowing what the game thinks is progression, knowing what actually will drop in certain places is actually better for you, because the game sometimes will think progression is craft work when you can just totally skip that. You know, in certain scenarios, and then there might be like aqua stream on craft work in a seed where this is shuffled instead of anywhere, and that's not what you want. You don't want a purple shard and a boss that drops a blue shard. That makes things even more unpredictable, and it's harder to make plans and judge and like routing and stuff like that. So this is always going to be on anywhere. Don't let this key items flag fool you. What we really care about, the main difference between the two categories is retain type and total random. The only other thing that will change is that the save and warp rooms will become mixed. This just makes it a little bit harder on us, but also one thing to note about this, even though it says mixed here, there are certain save rooms and certain warp rooms that will always remain unchanged. So for sure, the only save room that I know of for a fact remains unchanged is the one in Arantville, and then the warp rooms, the one in Arantville, and the one in between the desert and I guess it's technically part of the caverns. The one in between desert and lava is always going to be a transport room. And I believe that's because if you fall into that pit where that transport room is, you could, if it was a save room, you could save and softlock yourself there if you don't have a waystone, because you cannot jump out of it without some kind of movement ability. Even though you can get down, you can get down there with just Aqua Stream or Deep Sinker, which don't help you get out of that pit. So it's a little interesting thing to keep in mind. Okay, base things about the game. This is a Metroidvania. The timer will not start until we move. If you don't know what a Metroidvania is, basically it's a platformer where you can kind of like find stuff that opens up other areas, and you can kind of go in whatever areas are open to you and explore. That's the basic idea. It comes from Castlevania, Symphony of the Night mostly because of the equipment and items, and then you know, obviously Metroid games with their key items that open up new areas and give you new abilities and so on. This game is a spiritual successor to Castlevania Symphony of the Night. That's why it has such a similar title. It was developed by the same head creative mind, and it is very similar to that game, but it also has a lot of the GBA and DS Vania mechanics added on top of it. So the soul system, if you're familiar with that, it is also in this game. It's just they're called shards instead of souls, and they basically work the exact same way. There's different colors that do different things and can be mapped to different buttons, and they have varying utility, damage, MP cost, all sorts of stuff like that. If you look in the top left, that is our health and MP gauge up there. We got a little map in the top right, and we have a timer in the bottom left, which is, this is all built in. So something that's unique about this game is it has a built-in randomizer. We can talk a little bit more about the history of that as we get into the run. And then everything else we're going to talk about is going to be as we go. So I'm going to go ahead and kick it off for a countdown here. We're going to go in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Okay, all right, right off the bat, we get a key item in that chest when we are in the same type shuffle, and the Zangetsu Toe Sword is the only key item we technically need to beat the game. We need this and one more shard. We need a very specific shard. It's a purple shard. It's called Dimension Shift, and it's because this sword is the only way to open the last area of the game, and the last area of the game also has an impassable barrier, which can only be teleported around with Dimension Shift. So you'll see those things as we get to them in the game. And this is the basic beginner area. You know, you kind of learn everything you're supposed to in this area. Miriam here, our character, she operates a lot like Alucard would in Castlevania Symphony of the Night. She can equip all sorts of stuff and abilities and cast spells and all that. She has a counterpart, Zangetsu, who the sword is named after. You can play as him instead if you like. And then he has a very similar setup to Richter does in Symphony, which is, you know, he doesn't equip any items or get any of that kind of stuff, but he has all these crazy Street Fighter input commands that let him do all sorts of wacky, crazy stuff and, you know, fly through the castle really fast. So there's two different ways to play, and you can play either way, whichever way you like best. I like the randomizer way, so you're going to see me always playing Miriam. And I was pretty similar with Soten as well. So one big difference. Okay, that's good as well. One big difference between STS and Max Chaos is not only, like I said, the locking everything to be shuffled around to where it normally would stay with its own family of items, shard drops, etc. The other main thing is save and warp rooms aren't shuffled, so I know where all the save and warp rooms are. I don't have to check any of them as I go. And then also, I know what all the chests are and what they drop. At least all the important ones. I couldn't run max cast if I didn't know where every single item drop was in the game, including all the breakable hidden walls, which you're going to see one of those in a couple. But I can just skip a lot of it, you know. So in general, not always, an STS run is going to be much faster than a max chaos run. It all depends on item placement, of course. Here's a breakable wall, which I don't know how you would ever even know about if you didn't, you know, you didn't know. Actually, what happens is you're kind of not intended to know about breakable walls at all. They don't even really mention it. And then you can find a shard later in the game that like detective modes anything around you, and then that will reveal hidden walls, and then that's kind of supposed to be your aha moment by design, I guess. Alright, so we're not doing too much here. This sword is mega powerful. This boss has 2 phases. Technically 2.5 if you really want to get down to it, but she kind of lowers her head here in this position. That's like the half, if you let her. This is the second phase. I had a really bad first phase. Normally with this sword, you should be able to completely dust her in the first phase and not even see that second phase, but, you know, I'm not the best player of this game. Incidentally, we will have one of our best players running this game as a bonus, so if you want to tune into that, this will be at a very similar time next week, literally to the day, and I should probably be joining on commentary for that, so if you want to tune into that and donate a little bit more and get a little bonus love out there for us and the charities, we really appreciate that. Looking forward to that. That, I believe, will guarantee be max gas, so... Oh, wow, we have bronze and all that stuff already, huh? Okay, well, hold on a second here. I think the Warlock necklace is more important. Can I still craft this? I can. Okay. So that's pretty rare that you are able to craft stuff right off the bat. And none of these shards craft anything? Okay, good. Okay, so... one real quick thing that I mentioned. This is turning in this key item for another key item that will hopefully give us access to a part of the game later that we may want access to. We may not need it, but... okay, we have Plume. Witch's Hat. Just making a mental note of stuff here. One thing we will also need to beat the game is a good form of doing damage. This Zangetsuto sword that I was using is fine. It's not the best hitbox in the world. It's not the best damage that you can find either. Actually, hold on. We need to check what that is. Okay. However, it is sufficient to beat the game. You're just going to need a lot of healing and a lot of skill to not get smashed at melee over and over again. One of the things that this game has that is shared between the GBA Vanias that I was mentioning is the melee combat is very similar. So if you're very good at inputs on the controller, you can play a fighting game and do combos well. You should not have an issue with this game and figuring out how to get the most out of your melee combat and get a lot of extra swings in by hitting buttons in the right order, and canceling animations, and then, you know, re-attacking, and then so on, and looping that over and over. But if you can't do that, don't let that discourage you, because you can still play through the game very easily. The only issue that you might run into is that a regular old melee weapon might not be enough. So what you might want to do is just find a better way to deal damage. And oftentimes, finding a better way to deal damage than just a melee weapon is going to increase your times immensely. So we're always on the lookout for that. And it's one of the reasons in STS where we know all the enemies that drop purple shards, and we know that the shard we need to beat the game is a purple. You'll see us stop to farm purple shards quite often, and that's because some of the best offensive shards in the game, in fact, 3 of the best 5 are all, actually probably 5 of the best 7 are all purples. And the reds that are really good, you need infinite MP to basically really utilize them well. Whereas most of the best offensive shards, you don't need MP at all. you know, just the way they work. I'll explain one if we get one. But basically, the purple shards use one of two methods of cost. So they either are just a regular normal MP cost every time you use them, or they have a per second cost, which actually is a minimum to activate, but not a requirement to use for even only one frame. So basically, if you press the button for one frame, you're going to pay 1/60th of the cost that you would of the per second. So that's kind of an interesting spin on how something can work, and it makes the purple shards very, very unique, you know, in terms of how they function and how they can be implemented. Now the main I was having this problem a lot about a year ago with turning around, and it's mostly just down to accuracy, or it could be my controller wearing down a little bit, but it's just you have to be very precise with your inputs if you don't want to make a more precise input. And I'll explain that in a second while we get accidentally turned around here. Let me just finish up on the shards real quick. So there's all sorts of other shards that are useful, but they're all conditionally useful. And we'll explain what all the different shards do in a minute. As you're seeing, you've seen some reds, you've seen some purples, and you're going to see some other ones coming up soon. But let's talk about the movement, since we've been running through the castle, you know, or backwards running through the castle. If you play Symphony Night, you're probably familiar with seeing this. This is the old backdash cancel. It's just done a slightly different way in this game. The theory is the exact same. The button inputs are slightly different. So there's a backdash button, just like there is in Soten. In Soten, you would pull out a shield, and that would let you cancel the backdash. Well, the backdash is cancelable by a lot of other stuff in this game. You can cancel a backdash with a slide, which is down and jump. You can cancel with a regular jump. You can cancel with crouching. And I believe you can also cancel with a weapon attack. Yeah, you can definitely attack before your backdash animation's over. So it's very cancelable. Like jump attacks, you have to land, but once you're on the ground, your animation finishes by default. That's kind of like the same as Soten. So you can actually, like, you know, as you land, you can backdash, attack, backdash again out of your attack, and then jump back up in the air and then attack, and you can loop that, and that's how you see a lot of the best combat happening. You'll see a lot of jump canceling and backdash canceling out of you know, other maneuvers that will get you a lot of extra melee swings in. So yeah, that's basically what we're doing here. Is we're pressing the backdash button and then the down button on the same frame, or just the down button like as fast as possible afterwards. You might see a stutter sometimes. That's us missing some inputs or not being quick enough. You know, you might see me get turned around. That's just, unfortunately, my thumb maybe rolling onto the other direction and turning us right side forward, which is we don't want. We want our back towards where we want to go. And you know, you can be more precise and put in down and away from the direction that you are dashing in if you want to be more precise, but that is a little bit more difficult. So, you know, I would suggest learning it with just the neutral down first, and then as you get more comfortable and you get better at it, you get consistent at this, then start looking to add a down back in with your dash cancels. It's one of the very few weapons that attacks just as fast when you're on the ground as you do with jump canceling it, so yeah. Alright, so now that we've gotten that done, let's talk about shards a little bit more, and then we'll have some time to hand it off here. There are 6 different colors of shards in the game, and you equip all 5 of those 6 colors. The main movement, or like I guess you could say like access to new areas type shards, are white shards. So that's going to be your double jump, high jump, invert, which, you know, flips the castle upside down, deep sinker, which lets you sink into water instead of float, and then shortcut, which unfortunately is actually a like a quality of life shard. It's not actually a movement shard. It like basically lets you set specific loadouts of equipment and then switch between them quickly without having to go to the menu. So that's not really, you know, a movement shard, but it's in the pool. that's the game design decision they made. And then here's our first white shard. It's in a lamp. And you can see I got Deep Sinker there. That's not ideal, because that does open up an area of the castle that we can go to, but it's a little bit higher level than where we're at right now, and it's a lot slower, and there's a lot less checks of stuff. There's a lot less purple dropping enemies. We don't get to go to the areas with the cool upgrades in them. Ooh. But sometimes it works out. Okay, so before I finished explaining all the different types of shards, right there, that was a safety room. I have not yet talked about the logic. So just know that when I didn't see the invert shard there in that first white lamp, typically what we're going to do is go and check that room and see if invert is in there. And it's a backup to make sure that the logic doesn't soft lock you. Or the lack of logic doesn't soft lock you. That's how I should put it. And we'll talk about why there's a lack of logic in their randomizer mode as well. That's going to come into the mode and how it was funded and all that. So, okay, let's finish talking about shards real quick, though, before we talk about the next thing. And take a break and all that to get some stuff in. So, there's going to be red shards like this. Red shards are just big magic attacks or summons. They get mapped to a button. They cost a lot of MP, but they are very powerful, depending on what you're doing with them. But you typically won't see us use many of them unless like it's all we have, or we have infinite MP from an accessory that gives you 0 cost MP for any ability you activate. You know, which is we try to find in seeds, but we don't often always find it. So okay. Then we have green shards, which are just you get a pet that follows you around, basically the exact same as cards in Soten, where you find like a pet card and you know that pet follows you around, tries to help you out. Then we have yellow shards, which are just raw passive, like whatever they are. They give you a passive increase to this, and then that's it. Then we have blue shards, which are like the they have a specific name. I don't remember what it is. We'll see it in the menu, but they're very game warping. So like one will just heal you. One gives you a shadow clone. One gives you basically impenetrable shield. One gives you super flash speed. You know, that's the one we want to find right here, but that's not the one we found. So, but there's only 9 of them. One freezes time, which is crazy. But yeah, there's only 9 of them, but they are mega powerful. So like the three that are like mega powerful are powerful enough to like go out of your way to check usually. Because if you get the speed one, everything just goes way mega fast, right? So that boss there, real quick before we hand it off, and I check. I do a little bit more purple farming. Is that boss there? Normally he has an attack pattern that you have to deal with. However, this game has a lot of stuff that's based on frame rate, as do a lot of games out there. And when you play with uncapped frame rate, for whatever reason his script just doesn't work right. As long as you stand there and attack him over and over, and you start right away. So like if you run in that room and you stand there for a little bit, he will start his attack pattern, and then he will basically follow it. But if you run in there with uncapped frame rate and you start whooping him with whatever you've got, eventually. You will kill him, and he will not have done anything but just turn around in circles, as you saw there. Okay, cool. Alright, I just wanted to farm that up real quick, because we can't actually advance in this area of the castle. We don't have the ability to. Or yeah, I'm sorry, actually we can. We got the safety invert. What am I talking about? Just pretend like I didn't come back in this room at all. This is just RNG manipulation right here, okay? Yeah, I wanted that yellow shard, because I knew it was going to be completely useless. I just wanted to show you guys that yellows exist, because I might not find another yellow shard in the entire game. Okay. Let's put this on. That's actually... Oh, no. We want throw spear. Okay, so now that we have the invert shard, we don't have to go underwater. Although we could. Invert does let you swim the same way that Deep Sinker does, and just in a different way. We'll explain that if we get there. But now that we have this invert thing where we can turn everything upside down, gravity now works in the opposite direction for us, and our sprite turns upside down. It does not work for everything else. Everybody else is still, in the castle as normal. They will still, operate on normal gravity. It's just Miriam that will all of a sudden be reversed on everything. And anything Miriam creates, like, like a fireball or something that has like a downward trajectory, will still follow normal gravity. It will not alter with her gravity. So you might see that in action. And then right now, I'm going to hand it off. Check out any donations we have, any because this is just we're just kind of traversing into the next section. Any announcements we need to make, any kind of things like that. Yeah, and so there's a couple things going on. I was checking some more key item chests, and the reason I'm still checking key item chests, even though we have the one item we need to beat the game, is that there's a few key item chests in the game that have items in them that open up other areas where there are purple drops, which we are still looking for, like that silver bromide that I found and turned into the identification. And then there's a few other ones that are keys that open up a boss room, and these bosses actually also drop a purple shard. So we still need to pick those up, because if by way of poor luck that any of those are required and we don't have them, it's not only is it tough to go back and get them, it's going to be tough to just to remember where they were. Ow. Like, there's the Carpenter key that opens up a boss door to Mr. Carpenter, who is the, I guess you'd say, the hardest optional boss in the game. That's pretty fair to say, I think. Alright. Interestingly enough, you will see me sliding as well over ledges and stuff like that. That's usually just to save a few frames here and there. Miriam has, like most platformers, some kind of slight delay or animation when walking off a ledge, and you can just completely negate that by sliding. And sliding is faster than walking as well, so if it doesn't make sense to backdash off the ledge, it can make more sense to slide. All you have to do is hit down forward to turn around into the direction you want to go, and then hit the jump button and you'll slide. And then you can often jump cancel out of the slide as well. It's how you'll see me get over certain gaps that are like a little too long. Okay, I'm just going to use a potion here. We have no food. All right. So this is our Richter, effectively. This is Jeeble. And basically what we have to do here is we have to damage him down to a certain percentage of HP. And then we have to get to this red moon in the sky and slash it with that Zangetsuto sword. This is basically the same as the Richter fight, except, you wear the holy glasses, the thing spawns up top, you have to do X amount of hits to it. It's a similar idea. And then this allows the last area of the game to be opened up. So, now that we have that open, it also has some chances to drop some purples. There's some key items in there. It becomes another place we can go and then teleport out of and all that. It is, however, very large. It's very hard to traverse without vertical and horizontal movement. And right now we've got decent vertical movement because we have invert. It actually is great because it gets us into all the areas of the game without too much fuss. However, it's also very slow. And there's much faster vertical movement available in high jump. It's just unlikely that we're going to find it since we've already found Deep Sinker. Just kind of the way it goes. Sometimes you get lucky, you find high jump and double jump, and then other seeds you get no movement at all. Until you finally track down some movement somewhere, and you get like somebody to drop something, or you find Reflector Ray or Dimension Shift, which are two purples that can give you the movement to get up and down from places. Okay. And we've got all your tropes, you know, like that guy's a boss right there, but he turns into a regular enemy in the last area of the game that we just opened. So there's all that kind of stuff going on as well. And, you know, there's a few routes through the castle. There's some methodical stuff that you can do. There's decision making to do. Like, I definitely left a few purple shards at the beginning that I did not stop and farm. And that's just kind of my style of play. A lot of players, a lot of our best players, especially with their superior melee combat skills, they will stop and farm those enemies, and so they don't have to go back. I like to skip them because in STS anyway, I like to skip them. Max Chaos is a little bit different of an animal, like how you want to tackle that, but considering you might have to farm every enemy. But I like to skip and come back because generally, unless Reflector Ray or Dimension Shift, the two shards I mentioned, the purples I mentioned, are dropped in that area, you will not have any movement that affects where you can and can't go. And the good news is that you can't go very far without any kind of movement whatsoever. So you're either going to get a white shard in that lamp that lets you go where you need to go. You're going to get a safety invert in that safety room that I went into. You know, and that gets you, you know, where you need to go. Or you're going to, you know, be stuck, and then you're going to have to find one of those purples anyway. There is a chance you can find a blue shard and progress to the next section using that, but that's a 1 in 9 chance. So even if that is the case, it opens up basically this area of the castle that I'm in anyway, and teleport rooming back to the beginning or even that middle area, as long as you grab the teleports, is not too bad. It's not that big of a time loss, and you will likely have the ability to one-hit a lot of the stuff, and you might end up saving some time anyway. The only thing you're going to lose out on is when you are, when it is one of those, and it's like, you know, a very quick seed, and you get one of those movement purples right away, and then the other people are able to check areas, like say you're racing against somebody. The other people are able to check areas that are, you know, not accessible to you at the moment, potentially, and then that's like that can become an issue. So, you know, it's a style choice. It's a gamble, and it's one I make a lot in STS, a lot less in Max Chaos. But you know, again, there's a lot of more different things in play, because with Max Chaos, you might have to come back to also check items, you know, treasure locations, looking for that Zangetsu Toe sword, because it could be theoretically in any weapon chest, in any wall, you know, anywhere basically. I'm going to actually wait. Hold on. Yeah. So we grab this teleport room. We actually shouldn't have grabbed the teleport room. I should have went in here first. So this is OD. He lets you borrow books from the library. He also turns your identification card you got earlier into a multipass. And that opens up a section where you can suplex the train and explore the laboratory that's behind it. He also lets you borrow 2 more books if you do 2 area transitions and then come back to them. And you can do that by teleporting, by walking through doors, whatever. But I'm going to go ahead and turn in all these quests that I've completed. That bovine plume might be useful. The bovine plume is when the shards are not randomized, can often upgrade a movement shard into a better movement shard. Now I can. Okay, so the 2 movement shards I have are not the upgradable one. Normally it's double jump, and you know, that gets shuffled, of course, in the shops when you're in the crafting, when you shuffle the crafting. But unfortunately, it did not get shuffled to one that I can take advantage of. So I'm just gonna go ahead and power up invert. That's gonna give me a little bit more invincibility when I flip the world around, which will help me survive. Okay, all these are bad. Just gonna sell these off. And when you play STS, you can sell your equipment a lot more freely because the crafting will shuffle, but it will not change the ingredients needed. Whereas Max Chaos shuffles the ingredients as well, so you really have to hold on to everything because you never know what you might have to use to craft something. And I'm just going to buy some healing so that our travels are a little safer. There was an ice ring here. I might want to buy that. So I think I'm going to buy this as well. Because we don't, all we have is melee right now, so basically what we're rocking with is we're rocking with 2 accessories that help us with MP. The Witch's Hat's going to regenerate MP for me at a higher rate. And the talisman we're already wearing, the necklace, is going to give us a chance to sometimes use an ability without it costing any MP at all. So it's like a proc. This is free. Enjoy, you know? And we're going to go ahead, and this boss is not really necessary at this point, because with Invert we have the white shards we need. But I'm going to go ahead and do the traveling. I thought this was a good time to shop, because I can pick up a second book here. That's 5 free luck for me. And then I'm also going to do this boss, because not only do I want to check this accessory chest right here. You might notice a little bit of Soten homage with that. Unfortunately, he didn't drop anything good, but he rarely does. Anyway, this boss has a chance to drop a good white shard. It's probably going to be Invert almost all the time when you find Invert in the safety location. This boss drops Invert, but sometimes it's not. Sometimes it doesn't happen. So, if this boss here, since we've already found Deep Sinker, can drop me double jump or high jump, I'll be very happy. Really would love to have double jump. Yeah, that's amazing. Double jump's awesome. It is just as good as it is in Soten. It enables dive kicks. And guess what dive kicks are? Fast. Actually, we need to go down this way. So I need to farm this lovely lady here. I don't need to, but she drops a blue, and if this is accelerator, you know, our run is exponentially faster. This is one of the easiest blues to farm in the game. It's really close to a door, so you can reset the room. It's just worth it in most scenarios, in my opinion. If you get like 10 or 12 kills in and she doesn't drop it, then you might just want to like cut your losses. But you know, we're not like going for any world records or anything like that. So I figure, hey, let's get some donos in while I do this, and you'll see her drop a blue. Oh well. Okay. Well, it wasn't what we wanted, but that's okay. Go ahead and go for it anyway. We're just going to do a little bit of backtracking here and get ourselves over to the next section. Oh. The hand of Iga touches us, yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of things in the game look really cool. But there's frame rate stuff. You can be too fast. It's a little thing, you know. Yeah, you can clip through some things. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. Yeah, we're just checking stuff here. Nothing major should be happening for a little bit. A couple minutes, yeah. Huh? Yep. Yeah, so basically what happens is with the dive kicks, you're basically canceling out of the falling animation by jumping again. And then if you want to get a good dive kick forward, you have to hold down forward, or, you know, because you'll do a dive kick straight down if you hold just down. So if you're doing dive kicks forward, the problem is you might end up sliding by holding down forward, you know, when you cancel the dive kicks. You have to actually let go, so it's kind of like an interesting, like, it's like this jump canceling here. It's kind of like a plink, but it's with, instead of two buttons, it's a button let go of another button. It's a negative edge situation, kind of like a fighting game would have, you know. So, yeah, a lot of the Igavanias have a lot of homages, whether intentional or not, to like fighting games and like how they operate, like the, you know, just the concept of how they control, and, you know, kind of give you that high skill ceiling, you know, kind of deal. Yeah, this is an auto scroller, so you can keep going here, and you know, whatever we have, throw it out there. We've kind of covered all the basics for the most part. A lot of the rest of it's just kind of lore and strategy and stuff like that. So. Yeah, so this boss is an auto-scroller. It's slow. A lot of people skip it. I'm in the area. I wanted to clear the purples out of this area. I did that. This is a key item and a purple. And there's also 2 armors, which we kind of have some really good armor already, but we're looking for very specific armor that lets us go through spikes without taking damage. Okay. And that's the only reason I'm opening the chests that have armor in them and not the other greens. Or if you see me skip some greens, I might open some greens no matter what, but if you see me open a green chest at this point, it's an armor chest or an accessory chest. I'm looking for the infinite, and there's the armor I was looking for. The Aegis plate, what that does is if you put it on, you will take no damage from the stuff like spikes. And that might come into play because if we have to fight a specific boss that has a bunch of spikes in his room, I want it for that. We also might need it to get to a specific area. If you don't know how to clip in. Technically, I can get in already. I know how to clip in, but you do have to take a bit of damage to do it, and it's, you know, again, it doesn't solve that issue of I'm in the area, I'm just opening these for, like, safety, because if I have to fight this boss that has a lot of spikes, and I already have invert. Basically, he has spikes on the ceiling, and if you stand on the ceiling, this boss, he's way worse. If you can just stand on a corner of one of his ceilings and just get him, you know. So he's way easier to deal with. He's one of the few bosses that can one-tap you because he has like a grab move, and it can just eat your whole health before you can get out of it. So I wanted to make sure that if I went by the armor chest, I'd go ahead and grab him, you know, just because... oh, this is a tough decision here. All right, are you guys ready to gamble or what? I'm going to show you the train, and because this is something you don't see in very many STS runs. It's just slow, but it's one of the nice things about this game. You can go to an area that's slow and has like a similar amount of item checks, But if the thing you're looking for is there, you probably just win. And it's one of the biggest advantages you have if you're like a less skilled player in terms of manual dexterity, you know, or like, you know, whatever control related stuff you want to talk about, like, you know, just your input and stuff is a little bit, you know, it's not going to be as good as other players. That's fine. If you just outthink people and take the right gambles, you can still win a lot. You know, obviously you want both at the end of the day, but having a really high level of skill often advantages people to play in a certain way, and it makes them predictable. And, you know, the more people you add to a race, and, you know, the more, people you have gambling in different ways, the more likely somebody that's not the highest skill player is going to win. Because somebody's gamble is going to pay off, you know, so... And that's basically how you still have fun. I still have plenty of fun racing our best players. You know, obviously you're not going to win a ton of the races, but like when you beat a top player, you know, it feels great, especially because you just like you made a read and then you followed it, you know. Okay. You have to be very careful not to soft lock this boss. There's a bunch of ways to soft lock this boss. I'm not looking to do any of them, so I'm just going to take this damage. Could have avoided it by jumping up in the air, but... Okay. I could continue doing damage through that little attack there, but if you do damage while that attack's animating, that's another way you can soft lock the boss. Okay, this screen, without doing any of the aforementioned dumb stuff, should mean we're safe. Although you can soft lock on that screen as well. Oh, man. So we're looking for Dimension Shift, not Directed Shield. That was almost a... that's the wrong DS, as the community would say. No, we do not want to board the train. We do not want to get back on the crazy train. We can go off the rails just fine over here. Okay, we do have another... purple to farm, and oh, okay, I was gonna say this guy drops it, but he was cooperative and dropped it. We didn't get it on the train, but we got it on that kill, which is cool. And if you wonder, if you play the game and you're like, hey, how does he cancel these animations for when he picks up a health up or an MP up? Actually, you can just press the start button when you pick that up, and it will cancel the animation. But that's why you see me sometimes accidentally pause, like if I press it a little bit too early or whatever. That's what those accidental pauses are from. You can also cancel some of the game's animation sequences, like the boss death animation, some of the first few nameplates of the areas you visit. You can cancel those as well. And then for some reason it just stops working. For whatever reason, after Errantville, you just can't cancel it. You can cancel the boat, you can cancel Errantville. I think you can cancel the first area. And then after that, it just stops working. So garden, and then after the garden, it just stops. You can't cancel anymore. Okay, so this guy with the big red thing in his arm, he drops a purple as well, so we need to farm him. And now that we have this beam weapon purple that dropped earlier, this will be much faster. Instead of me having to run all the way over and attack him. Also, he might be weak to light. I'm not sure. We have the upgrade to the directional shards from our good buddy OD. That's one of the books I picked up. It makes all of our purple shards do more damage. Okay. So we've got one more purple here. There's 4 in total. There's the train, the assassin dude, the bomber mort guy there, and then there's this boss. We also have a blue shard that we can check by the little pixie that we killed a couple of already. Yeah, it's just anime. There's just anime character syndrome as well. Like, you know, it just is what it is. Like, you have a special attack, you've got to say the name of it, or else it's not as strong. You know. So. Yeah, this beam shard is a little bit different. in that it has a much longer cooldown in terms of how long it ticks in the beam's animation. If I get another beam called Void Ray, you'd see that I could actually do it a lot faster than I'm doing this one, and that's just the unique property. Hey, look at that! Speak of the shard. Okay, you're gonna see me explain exactly what I was just talking about. See, I'm much faster on the shots there. Okay. And unfortunately, we don't have any way to check the accessory check over to the left because you need Dimension Shift or Reflector Ray to check it. But what we can do is just teleport out of here since we don't have any random teleport rooms. I can come back over here with my good offense. I can accidentally click the bookshelf. Whoops. There's certain places you don't want to hold up or down, or it'll mess up your stuff. And then I'm just going to confirm that I did not. Yeah. So we have Plume Parma, Toad, Barbados, and then we have everything else already farmed up, right? Yeah. Oh, we skipped Larage as well. We can get Larage pretty quickly. Okay. Okay, Reflector Ray would have given us some options, so I probably, if this was a race, I'd probably be losing right now. Because people would have found that and then used that to, like, skip the safety invert. But then they wouldn't have been able to, if they skip safety invert, continue upwards. So, it's tough to say, really, where I'd be. I can definitely go back and check that accessory, and I probably will later, but I don't need infinite MP right now. I want it really for the later stuff. This is opening up the last area. I'm just doing this now and passing through. I'm not going to go in. Some people like last area first. I actually would. If I had Accelerator, I would go right now. But without Accelerator and without, like, good healing, I'm not quite into that. Okay, there's several ways to get across this gap. This is one of them. There's the straight down dive kick if you wanted to see what that looked like. Okay, in case we need to fight the Warhorse boss, I'll grab that teleport room. This is just an area that we were already in, but I'm heading down. Basically, the reason I'm going this way is because I need to get to this room here. Okay. That's good luck. And because I want to farm Toad and Plume Parma in this room. And then also this puts me close to an underground section. Oh, shoot. That was a mistake. Okay. Thankfully, it's something we don't need. If you don't let the shard hit your body on the screen, you will not get it. But you can still look and see what it was in the bestiary there. And we're back to this section where I was at before. This is one way to get underground. And what this underground section does is it puts me closer to accessory checks for the Jibo glasses, which is that infinite quota, infinite. Oh, of course we get a spam bot. Come on, man. There we go. Sorry about that, folks. Streaming this live on Twitch, you get some spam bots. So. Luckily, it's not going to appear on the. Yeah. I think the chat is now smart enough to hold. Yeah, if it has a restricted message, it holds it and it doesn't play it, so that's cool. Oh, actually, I want to switch because he is weak. This one is weak to light, and we can one-shot him with this. Yep. Okay. There's another accessory check here, but it's really far out of the way. So I'm going to skip it. Because basically, with Void Ray, that's enough to beat the game on its own, really. Like, we don't need any MP help. I already have a bunch of MP help. So now it's going to be more of... I'm only going to check accessories that I happen to come across naturally. Like, I will check the one that's in the next room. Just because I have the means to check it. But I'm not going to check the one that's way out of the way. I probably am not even going to go back for the one that was on the train. Even though it would make fights easier, it's not going to make it so much easier than it already is. Certain shards just make the end fights way easier than they would be without them. Void Ray is one of those shards. It's one of the best shards in the game. In my opinion, it's basically tied for the best. Just because, like, the hardest boss fight in the game is weak to it. And it's got all the beam properties, the super range, and all that. The other best shard in the game is also a dark element shard. It's called Fal Taib. It's incredible because it's shorter range, but you can spam it way faster without using any MP at all. So it's basically super good, independent of how much MP you have or, like, you know, what your options for MP are. And it does a ton of damage. So, like, you know, it's not slow DPS either. Like, you can do everything in the game with it with relative ease. And those are the two best. Then you have a couple, like Tisracion, the one I was using there. Unfortunately, it's light element, so the end boss is not very weak to it. Oh, I totally didn't check the accessory I said I was going to. This is what happens when you talk instead of play. But again, there's a lot of accessory checks, a lot of them that we're going to skip at this point, and our odds for finding glasses are really low now. Like, especially with double jump, like, I've got evasion. I'm not worried. Okay. Did we find any? Yeah, we did. Okay. That just clears our poison. Like, I'm basically just rushing purples right now. And that's what I should be doing. Once you find, like, a key piece that does, like, a ton of damage, or... you know, that you are confident, like, okay, with my skill level, I know I can beat the game with just this stuff, then you really... like, odds are favoring you to just go. You know, just go from here. All I'm really missing is a way to poison Dominique at the end, which is, you know, pretty easy to find. There's a bunch of weapons that do it. I'm sure one of them was in the shop, so I could probably just buy one. But even then, I don't need it. Void Ray is good enough on its own. So here's one of the rooms I was talking about at the beginning. That's always a teleport, even when you randomize it, because you can't get out of that. You cannot get out of that gap without some kind of elevation. And in theory, you can get all the way down here with just Deep Sinker. You just can't get any further. Alright, we've got one more purple to farm down here, and then we have to start looking in a few other different sections of the game. I did abandon Larage, so we're going to have to go back and do Larage, but... which is what I did in my submission, and that's what had Dimension Shift, which was hilarious. I kept it in, though. I wanted to show, like, you know, what could happen if you skip. You know, there's a strength and weakness to every playstyle. Does this do more damage? Oh, yeah. And this is about the same in terms of speed, because this is slower than Void Ray, but it's a little bit more mana efficient, just because we're only doing 2 shots every kill. So this guy drops a purple. There's also an accessory check right by here, so I'm going to run and do that real quick after he drops his purple. Okay. think this is where we... Yeah, this is where we waystone. Okay, use my one waystone. Okay, and the Strider Belt accessory we got is really good. It's okay, we might use this. Might use that. Definitely we'll still use this for some enemies. We might have to farm the dragon that's strong against dark, so we'll want it for that. Don't have much else to spend our money on, so... Okay, double jump crafts double jump. Awesome. That can happen. That's just how it goes sometimes. It'd be like that sometimes. Okay, we're definitely not going to use that now that we have Throw Spear and Shia. We don't need this now. Oh, I might want a double ice ring for the end. Yeah, we're good with that. Oh, we already have. Witch's Hat's already the best hat we can wear for what we have. Anything else expensive? No. Okay, and I do have... this will increase our movement speed a little bit. Let's go grab a third book, just to be super safe. And I think I will check the accessories. Well, I'll check the one that I skipped for sure. So the Strider Belt does what you would think it would do. It makes your slides way better. And now sliding is super fast. This one. Oh, so close. Okay. Well, there is another area we can go into. We have craft work, we have vertical movement, and we have the Aegis Plate. It is open. It is often where the last shard in the game resides. There's a joke that it's always on Kamikaze, and that's probably where it is. We don't actually know if anything in the code favors this location, but it just, confirmation bias has told us that you know, that's where it is. So I did not mean to invert there. But what we can do is we can go in the last area, do this first, and then teleport out. So basically what we're down to 3 optional bosses right now. But I don't have access to all 3 optional bosses, and there are more key items in this area that will likely give me that access. Just gonna switch to all slides just for simplicity here. But you can absolutely switch back to Void Ray for this guy. Okay, that guy can drop a blue, so I just figured I'd give him one tap real quick. Maybe we get lucky, get Accelerator. Here's another key item chest right here. Okay. Not the droid we were looking for. Kung Fu shoes can be super useful early. Yeah, we have to farm. We have to farm this guy down here, unfortunately. Gonna get to see some nice clean movement here. We often don't have double jump or strider belt to show off some of this clean movement that we can do. I mean, mine wasn't all that clean, but oops. For whatever reason, when you slide in this game too, the fourth slide is slower. And you can actually mitigate that by doing a backdash cancel. This is what I did there. And also double jump off enemies infinitely, technically, as long as there's one to jump off of. Basically, I think double jumping resets your dive kick. Yeah, that's what happens. You can jump off of like little towers, or sorry, torches. You can jump off enemies. So either one will reset your dive kick. Okay, that's actually really nice because now we don't have to waste more time here. That can take a while, even though he's got a pretty high rate of dropping. Okay, here's the boss that I mentioned. Okay, cool. I checked that because that hat actually is the best intelligence hat in the game. Thought we might find that here, and what that's going to do for us is... yeah, we don't have that much money. Okay, so this guy's gimmick is he's Casino Man, and he's going to steal our money like halfway through, and that's going to be his new HP, so you don't want to have a ton of money coming in here. But his most dangerous stuff is this, where you can get crushed, or where he can grab you, and you have to be somewhere in the middle of the screen to get grabbed, so just being able to stand over here is just... makes it free, basically. He doesn't get the whole amount of your gold. He gets like a percentage of it. So. Yeah, see, I think he gets like a quarter. Because I killed him after about 1,000. I think I had about 4,700 gold. But he also drops a purple. So. Okay, and that's not it. Alright. Okay. Alright, so there's another accessory check down here, right next to a teleporter room, and if this isn't glasses, we're going to bail. There are 2 more purples to find down here, but the bosses are not easy. And we're probably going to have better luck farming the other stuff. But we will grab a key item from over here and then come back. Because this might be the last boss key, I think it actually has to be, right? I don't have... Yeah, I don't have it. So it has to be this chest here. Basically. Make sure I don't die. That'd be probably a pretty good idea. Try to avoid dying. Let's have a high potion. Oh, cool, it got overwritten. That's what we really want right there. Well, I guess I could farm... Oh, it's gonna take so many hits to kill this guy. Yeah. Get lucky? Nope. Well, we killed one. Okay. There's the accessory. Nope. Alright. Well, it's always kamikaze, folks. Called it. That might help us a little bit at the end. Yeah, I'm not even gonna bother, I don't think. Okay, well, not really much we can do except for head in to the last area. I could gamble hard. Not sure that's wise, but... Buy another ice ring. Wait a minute. Let me refill that and buy the last one of those. Okay, so we have as much healing as we can afford, or or carry. I have no waystones though. Yeah, we can't go there. That has to be last. So this could absolutely be a soft lock, and there's nothing we can do about it. The flower garlic chest has a chance to spawn on any blue chest, or for some silly reason, any key item chest. And it spawned on top of a key item chest. So that was where Warhorse Key was. So that key item is overwritten by this stupid crafting food material. And now if that's the guy who holds Dimension Shift, we'll never know, because that's how we open his room to fight him. So, yeah. Oh, I didn't get it. That's how you get in with invert if you don't have any of the other stuff. I could have went around the other way, but that way's faster if you get it on the first try, which I didn't. And And you get to skip a few rooms as well. Okay. Yeah. Okay, it's not terrible yet. We're almost there. If it's not this next enemy, then we're in bad shape. Oh, I'm going to jump the gun a little bit, too, on the soft lock thing. There is one more key item check. It is the boss that's at the top of this section. So, in theory, that's where Warhorse Key is, and we're not soft locked. But what I said about that garlic flower chest still is 100% true. More of them can spawn with just garlic, and then that can overwrite a chest that has a key item in it, which is the worst. Okay, cool. That's actually nice for that to be there. We're going to need that. Oh my goodness, it's not always kamikaze. What are we even doing here? I do not have healing. Okay. Yeah, we don't really want to deal with any of those guys. See you later. Okay. I was hoping that would be like a medium potion, not Ninjas are actually one of the few enemies that can mess with you on the ceiling. They cast an inverted flame pillar on the ceiling at you. Almost. We found the skull necklace. We found the other GGs. Okay. Alright, this fight is usually pretty ridiculous, but with good items, it's not that hard at all. We just basically play keep away with them. I probably won't get hit much more than that right there. Between the sliding and the yeah, okay, there's really nothing I can do about that. That's actually less damage than getting hit by one of the little teleporty things. But with double jump, ooh, okay. I don't know why I thought he still had fire. Yeah, this fight without health and armor and... Oh, actually, I should have put this better armor back on. Yeah, as you can see, those hit for a majillion damage. Alright, hopefully this is Warhorse Key. Alright, awesome. Problem is, we don't have our... we don't have any waystones, so I have to run down to that teleport again. In order to... unless this is one. Nope. In order to get out of here. Alright. Well, doing Warhorse is better than Carpenter or trying 8-bit. We can save split 8-bit. The thing is, we don't typically allow that because for things to be truly fair, resetting a PC is super lightning fast. You just hit the button, go to the menu, and you're back in, right? With the PlayStation, in order to save split, save and quit, reload, and all that, oh boy, it takes a long time. I'm actually just gonna go for this. I'll go for 1. If it doesn't drop it on the first one, I'm out. Oh, this is bad. Okay, neither Demon Lord dropped their purple, which is not great. This is costing me a bunch of money, that's the thing. Because I gotta rebuy these healing items. I mean, I probably... Yeah, we'll need them. We're gonna need them. This fight's way harder without invert. Let's just put it that way. And so is the other one that we're gonna do. Cool. This guy is only a 10% drop to drop his shard, though. Whereas the other boss we're going to do is 100. So there you go. Ugh. As you can see, this section is terrible and to be avoided at all costs. Actually, you know what? Let's grab this since we got to buy some more potions anyway. Alright, so this is the nightmare scenario. You're never going to see this at a marathon because we vet the seeds to make sure they're not soft locks, and there's no way that we would have this as a showcase. Like, if we 100% knew, like, this is the time we have and blah, 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 and they were going to give us a guaranteed, like, hour 40 for STS, then we would say, okay, that's fine, and we'll, you know, whatever, because there is a hard cap on how much time you'll spend. If you know the game and all that, but things can go wrong. You know, you can die a few times. Things can go badly, and we just don't want to have that kind of thing happen. So basically, what's going to happen here? So I'm going to do this boss, and if it's not this guy, then we're going to check the we're going to check the 8-bit area, and if we can't get that drop, we're going to have to reset, basically. And try it again. Which is just really not ideal. So. Okay, this guy, same thing. Invert to the ceiling. He can throw an axe and hit you, but if you stay, like, close enough to him, he usually doesn't. If I see an axe, I might go ahead and slide, but... This is why I picked up the third book, because it's just, I added a bunch more damage. And I didn't want to drop the luck book because we haven't found every purple yet. Okay. Alright, so this is all bad news. Show you how progression works in the base game. That boss that we just roll full stop that spun back and forth, he normally drops that blue shard that gives you the hand. You can move that platform off, and then you can talk to the little transport guy here. And then the transport guy takes you across. That's how you normally would get across. You don't get double jump until that place where we actually found double jump in the library. You have to go through that whole section without it in the base game. This game, quite a bit more linear than, like, say, Super Metroid. And even to some extent, Castlevania Symphony of the Night. So, like, Symphony, once you get Bat, you can kind of almost go anywhere. You know, and then once you get the glasses and you can go to the, anywhere in the first castle. Then once you get the glasses, you can go to the, anywhere in the second castle, pretty much whatever order you want. So, yeah, it's a little bit more, linear. I'm actually going to sell this because I need to buy those. Yeah. Okay. And the reason I replaced my weapon here is because this is just a safe weapon. Shield weapon's one of the only weapons in the game where while you swing it, you're basically like, you have a bunch of invincibility in front of you. So in a pinch, when you're about to get hit with a nasty attack, if you can swing at the right time, you can basically parry it. Street Fighter Third Strike style. So it may come into play here. So this is our save split. Normally I wouldn't do this. But unfortunately, with no waystones in the seed and no way to craft them, we'd have to fight this awful boss at the end to get out of this thing. And then we'd have to do that every single time that the limited amount of enemies in here that can drop this purple didn't spawn. And that just takes so much time already. We're already at 1:20. This is way longer than your average. This is way, way longer than your average STS seed takes. Like, we have 140 for the worst case scenario STS as our time, basically. And we're fast approaching it. Okay. So there you go. It's not that one. So there's only one other option besides Carpenter and Demon Lord, and that's down in this area. Okay, I think I'd rather fight. Yeah, I think I'd rather fight Gramarye than Carpenter again. So we've also gained a bunch of levels, which is helping a lot of stuff, like our damage and all this other stuff. So if we actually are not soft locked here in some way, the good news is that our fight against the last boss will be pretty easy. Because we're actually going to be a moderately decent level because we've actually killed a bunch of stuff, even though we've speedrun, through most of the game. We're definitely going to need to save here. So will it be vanilla, folks? That's the question. Will it be vanilla? She takes extra to holy, right? Yeah, no, not that much. Let's maybe try this. Ah, come on. Alright. I didn't even have to put ice rings on for that. That was cool. I was thinking about putting ice rings on. I probably should have. Ugh, gross. Alright. Well, I guess I could do Demon Lord. This is STS, man. I guess I can do Demon Lord down here. Demon Lord's my last option besides Carpenter. I mean, look how much damage I'm doing. I've literally been everywhere. Gambler Ring. Aqua Stream. Is there a good way to damage boost through this guy? Oh, that's not that bad. And just jump over that idiot. I guess it's just save split demon or save split carpenter now. That's my only option. I mean, we could be soft locked. I mean, I've seen the boss spawns overwrite before, so let me save some money. Okay. The good news is I forgot Laraj, didn't I? Of course I did. I even mentioned going back for it, and I still forgot because I'm commentating myself. Obviously, at this point, I've run out of things to say. It's okay. It's not going to be Laraj, guys. We know it's not going to be Laraj. Whatever. I'll just go there, though, to just prove that it isn't. Just so everybody knows. I can't orphan Laraj anymore on principle. If it's... That still doesn't one-tap him? That's frustrating. I have... yeah. This is why you practice, folks. I did the exact same thing in my... You know what's funny, though? This is still faster than my submission. Even without accelerator, I had better stuff. No accelerator, no glasses. And this is still going to be faster than my submission by like 7 minutes ish, I think. Yeah, we want, yeah. I think my submission was a 140 or 141. Which is why they set the thing at one. And then my like max chaos was like a 146 or something. Which is why they set. I think they set the thing at 140. But if they, I said like we can curate the seed or whatever. We would never put the. Well, we would put this actually in, but I would fail miserably. My plan was actually to, if we're gonna, because it's a bid war, right? So we need one MC. Well, we probably should get two MCs that are both completable in an hour and a half, just in case one doesn't work or whatever. And then we should probably have three of these, three STSs, just to be safe. And like, I'm not saying the MCs need to have like accelerator guaranteed early, but they probably should have something similar, like either glasses early or accelerator early, one of those. And I think we should have two STSs, because if STS wins and I bring like a 45-minute seed and I have an hour 40 estimate, I don't want to put the pressure on the runner who's coming after to be early, or like, I don't want us to have like an hour's of time necessarily. Now, if the event tells me, hey, if you can finish your game in 50 minutes, do it, sweet. But if I have three that are all around like the 35 to 50 minute length, what we can do is if STS wins the war, I can just play two of them. And as long as all three of them are kind of like different and unique, I think that'll be good. And that'll still bring us in under estimate and, all that. So that's my plan. I know, right? It looks so good. I like how it's got good int too. Like, it's not. I should switch, but. It's got good intelligence rating too, so. Oh, am I early? I am early. Whoops. I thought that was 3. Yeah, and that's why I was wearing it, because I couldn't find glasses. I actually had Sinker and Reflector Ray, and I just instinctively went right past the accessory chest. Underwater. All these places I wouldn't have even... Dude, that's like a... that seed had no way to do good damage to Dom. Except behind Dimension Shift. Yeah, I skipped it. I'm actually gonna go back in and go look and see what it was, because I have to know. I skipped it by accident. I was, when you're commentating your own run, you're also not thinking about like all of the smart things you should be doing. Which is why, as decent as I am at commentary, I'd much rather have some help, because if I focus, the run's going to be better. Like, no matter what. If I'm able to, like, focus on playing, the run's going to be way better. I mean, if it was a regular speed run, it would probably be fine, but when it's a randomizer and you have to make decisions, Oh yeah, no waystones, by the way, of course. Okay, now what's the closest I can get to it? Gross. Yeah, because I didn't come... Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's... You're not doubling your mental stack because you're not thinking about... Well, maybe you are to a certain degree. I mean, I don't know if I call it doubling the stack, but it's definitely... It's close. When you add randomizer in... Because, like, you can get your muscle memory to a point where a lot of this stuff is whatever. But also, your muscle memory can hurt you. Because if I muscle memory past something and I need to check it, that's bad. Obviously. So... I mean, I don't think the marathon's going to be running early, especially with it being their first live ever. If anything, I assume they'll be a little bit behind. Or they'll, like, even if they are running ahead, they'll fill time with, other stuff. So, like, I mean, if I think for you it'd be like 7 p.m. Central is like the target time. 7:05 Central. So if you're available, I'd take it. Also, you have experience, which is great. Like with Tetris, right? You commentate, yeah. Fuck. Did Rainbow do some tournament races? Okay, cool. That wasn't it. Hopefully, with this lead. Yeah, and that's what I figured too, though. Even because it's a Friday, you might be working, which is, just the way it goes, especially during that time of year. There's lots of conventions, obviously. There's a lot less conventions in the winter than there are in the summer, so. Alright, I started that run without water, and then it went an hour and a half because I'm an idiot and skipped Larage again. I mean, I killed Larage a bunch, I just orphaned it, and then... So, I'm gonna get some water, and then we're gonna do another one. Oh, right, okay. Fair enough. Wait, is it the same week? It's not. SGDQ's in July, isn't it? Or are you just saying, like, in addition, I also have this other thing? Yeah, okay. Alright. So this is 2 weeks before that, so I'm just like, going to make sure those schedules didn't overlap. I'm like, that would be, why would they do this? But not, yeah. I gotta get my water. Oh shoot. Honestly, the hardest bit's been training myself not to cuss when stupid crap like that happens. I mean, I honestly don't even know if they have they care much about that, but I just assume charity event equals family friendly, so not like there's a million different things kids could get into that's worse than a couple of 4-letter words, but whatever. I know, right? It is tough. It's tough. So I got confirmation from the organizers that basically to commentate, all you have to do is just confirm that you can do it, and then you just have to join their Discord like at least about a day before, so they can give you the role that you need to be in the channels, and then you would just join the Discord for the event, and then they're gonna try to patch that in, which I'm sure is not that hard to do. There's tons of runs where people are like, somebody's joining them on Discord or developer or another commentator or whatever. So I bet they can figure it out. And what's good is they'll probably figure that stuff out the day before on Thursday, so that there's not a big deal. It's not a big deal the rest of the time. So I just want to have a good showing. Like, I don't care if I just want to have nothing like that happen. You know, like, I don't care if the run's a little slower, as long as I don't forget anything and make it like 20 minutes longer than it should be. That's all that really matters. So, and one good thing is I'll be going into it knowing the seeds are vetted, so like I don't have to like I don't have to make any crazy gambles or whatever. I'm sure we're not going to have anything. I'm sure nothing's going to pass the BS, like have to go through all the whole castle to get to the Z sword, to get to this, to get the, you know, DS, to get to that, to get to the end. It just wouldn't be smart to take that with us, I don't think, because it's not like it's not an accurate representation of what can happen. You know, like we can say like, hey, sometimes you get some really nasty stuff, but it's rare. Yeah. So I have less time on Monday, so I'm only gonna do. I can't do a max now because I might be up. I gotta get up at 6:30 for work, so I might. You know, if a max takes me 2.5 or whatever, that's no bueno. But as long as I don't get screwed on this one, or I don't screw myself, should be okay. So Monday's gonna be my tightest day for practice, just because I drive super far to work and back on Mondays. This is something I've been experimenting with. Just killing this idiot instead of like trying to jump past him. The only thing is, if like you find better equipment, you've kind of wasted a menu. So it's like a 50-50 almost, I guess. Because obviously if you get a better weapon here, you want to equip it, but... Whew. I hope there's like a way to practice though, like on site, because I'm getting in the day before. So I took the whole, even though I don't get paid vacation, I can kind of take the days off. It's not a problem. So I did take the whole time. I'm gonna stay for the whole event. You know, if a place is gonna be kind enough to let us in, I feel like it's the least I could do. You know. So I'm staying for the whole event. I'm gonna take it in. You know. Try to build bridges and stuff. Get to know some people. Things like that. Maybe take some magic cards, you know. FFR's Discord has a Magic the Gathering channel, so I feel like there'll probably be people playing somewhere. But I'm going to try to actually watch a lot of it live, you know, like the normal hour stuff. And I took Monday off too, so I'm staying all Sunday night, and then I'm going to drive back the next day. Taking Monday off was kind of like, I was like, why would I take... Because I make way less money on Monday because I have a longer drive, and I have a, you know... I'm on the road for over 2 hours on Monday, and I get the same pay. And one other day a week out of the 5, I'm on the road for about 30 to 45 minutes. And then the other days, I'm on the road for 20 minutes or less. So I just make less money on Mondays. I'm like, well, if I'm going to take a day off, I'm actually losing less money taking a Monday off than a Thursday or a Friday off. So I may as well just fucking take it, you know? And enjoy myself and not have to, like, you know, drive home on Sunday and miss the final, you know, day of the event and all that. I know, like, I don't know. It's gonna be so hard to unlearn a lot of my bullshit too, you know, because you know me, like whenever I commentate, I call all the zones by Super Mario levels. I even think I got Bobby doing it a little bit, like you know, because he makes the Yu-Gi-Oh references with the pieces of Exodia and like Symphony of the Night or whatever. Um, but like I kept calling the lava area Lethal Lava Land. Dry desert, I think is what I call the we call Den Tiny Huge Island. So it's like if I say that, people are gonna be like, wait, what? It's gonna not say that, probably. Unless I say preface it by saying, yeah, well, I usually have a habit of I don't even know the actual real names. I don't know what's the lava fucking name. I have no idea. In my head, the lava cave area is Lethal Lava Land. Caverns is Dire Docks. I always forget the name of the snow level. I'm supposed to, oh, thank goodness. Ooh, Double Curse is an option. Diabaru is here. Okay. We got Rice. Yeah, there's a arm. Yeah, yep, it is. Unfortunately, not very high impact, but you know, it's STS. You can't really be hoping for that right away. Oh. I mean, when I got double jump last seed, I knew I was going to pay for it by having something terrible happen because you just can't, you're not allowed to have nice things, so you know. When I got double jump, I was like, oh, because the sinker was my first lamp, and then I had safety invert. I'm like, oh, cool, I can keep going this direction, awesome. And then I was like, all right, almost 9 times out of 10, whenever you find safety invert, dummy Andy has invert. Ooh, we have MP. That's rare. We have MP in a bottle if we need it. I mean, not too useful without Alcahest in the shop, but you know, better than nothing, I guess. Oh, I don't know why I did this. I have waystones. I found a waystone. Oh man. Why won't you die? Are you serious right now? What is happening? That can't be the right. Yeah, I was gonna say that can't be the right play. Call Morgenstern and Morgenstern for your criminal defense needs. Get hit by a car? Call Morgenstern and Morgenstern. Yeah, just like whatever jet seed you got, just get in here. But I think that's a good idea though. Like, you know, give them the option, right? Like I'll be like, look, I got one long STS and I got 2 short ones. So what I can do is I can do the 2 short ones if you guys don't want to make up some time. If you want to make up some time, I can do one. But then and then we have to have a max. We have to have a max that's like not longer than. I mean, shit can happen, and I might go over, but like, we need to make sure that the max we have has something early, just something like whether it's both key items, and I'm just looking for damage, whether it's glasses, accelerator, some combination of those things. As long as it has that and it's completable, I think it's fine. And if it has that, I'll definitely come in under 140. But what I'm surprised about in the schedule is that they didn't they put Max versus STS as a bid war, but then they only put an hour 40, even though I was like, yeah, this max was good. My max was over an hour 40 that I submitted. And I said, like, some maxes can take up to 2.5 to 3 hours. So, that's where I was like, oh. But I didn't, I did say, like, we can make sure that the vetted seeds are good, so. Actually, if you want to, bro, if you just want to start vetting seeds, like, whenever you have a chance to play, feel free, and then if you find stuff that's good, just, like, put it in the bank for me to use. Because, like I said, I want to take a couple medium speeds. Because our medium speeds, I can get in 2, probably, during that time. And then if you find one that's like, okay, this is like an hour, 10 minutes long or whatever, like, keep that one for me as well. Or any max where, you find accelerator early is great. Or if you find glasses early, or like, glasses plus a moon belt, or glasses plus a strider belt, or glasses plus like either high jump or double jump early. Something that's good movement wise. Like, if you play any seeds or whatever, or you've got any saved, like, just laying around right now, just jot down the numbers and, like, jot down the numbers, and if you can, grab the 3 spoiler things, and I am going to I'm going to follow the exact categories that we play. So there's no shuffling of rooms on STS, and there is on MC. When I was shown MC, it was all bottoms, and then when I was shown STS, it was, what we have. So I didn't do any kind of fancy. Heck yeah, it is. You got no warp rooms in an area you're gonna have to go back to potentially twice. Ugh. And you have to check every freaking save room looking for warp rooms. It's a huge waste of time. Okay, I should have just switched to Morgan and Morgenstern here. I don't know what idiocy I'm on about. Oh, actually, that's better, right? Yeah. I didn't get anything, right? I got Toad and Plume Parma, and I didn't get anything else. Okay, so I'll do this. I skipped Bone Mort. I gotta remember that. And this is why I orphan this stuff. Like, my playstyle, this is why it is the way it is. Because you could just lose minutes to farming early with no luck. And now you just gotta come back. And if DS is like somewhere in the mid game, like, nobody's ever gonna come back and bother to kill these guys. Because, like, if DS is in the mid game, odds are you've found something that's able to beat the final boss with. Nice crit. This is some terrible luck right here. I mean, I look like a genius when I orphan this dumb shit. Oh wow, I'm so glad I stopped to farm that. What was I gonna do? Oh yeah, I was gonna save split. Which again, we probably shouldn't do, but it is part of the game if you're just playing by yourself, so. Okay, nothing good in the chest, that's good to know. You need a slightly longer delay, I think, with jump canceling a whip than you do with a sword. At least it feels like it. I'm gonna check this because this isn't the best weapon to have to farm with. Okay. Well. DJ. Oh, double jump. Yeah, double jump. I mean, I never get double jump in this lamp. It's way too good. Why would I be allowed to get it? I was trying to double jump there for some reason. That's how finally I love double jump is. You set it and I just try to do it, just praying that I would get it. And... LOL, of course. Of course, I have 2 practice seeds, and it's shortcut and sinker. Watch. Shortcut, no safety. Called it. Because I had sinker with safety, so there's no way I'm getting... Oh, okay. Alright. Well, I guarantee you that invert's going to be on Andy, for sure. I wish that they could have made the safety lamp, have any of the other movement, but that would require logic, and then you wouldn't need the safety lamp if there was logic in the game. So Also, shortcuts shouldn't even be in the pool. Like, how are you going to gatekeep a quality of life thing that should just be in the menu behind the lamp? Sick. Alright. It's gonna be slower than usual, but I don't think there's a point in not doing this immediately. If it's accelerator, then we benefit immensely from it. Yeah, you definitely need a slightly longer jump cancel window for whips. The animation is just slower than a sword. I think with like sword, I've gotten it down to like where I can just spam the shit out of it now, but. Okay, breastplate's not terrible. GG? No. Okay, now I'm confused because that shouldn't have been there. Considering invert opens up the entire castle. It's just so wild that like the one safety doesn't check the other safety. Oh man. You know what I mean? But hey, when they said no logic, they meant no logic. Okay. GG. You know how much fun this would be with double jump? Okay, hair of the dog I think I will orphan intentionally. Turns out, good move. Problem is I have no damage. So hopefully I find a shard on the way that does damage. I mean, if we can find glasses, it doesn't really matter what shard I use. Like, I can make a... Garbage shards become decent with infinite MP, so... Alright. Yeah, I mean, you can do all sorts of crazy fun stuff if you have infinite MP. Oh, I don't know where my jump attack skills just disappear. I don't know. I gotta work on them a little bit more. Obviously. It's way harder to hit with the katana. The hitbox is so fucking wonky. The whip's a little slower. I think the key with the katana is you gotta stand further back. That's the main issue for me. You can't just get up on top of them. Dial M for monkey! I'd have been screaming for Mojo Jojo the whole time. Feel the wrath of Mojo Jojo! Yeah, I don't think we need more stat ups right now. I think we just need damage is what we need. I need a lucky purple drop, please. Oh, actually, I probably should have taken a look at that, because this fight sucks with melee. Do I have anything useful? I don't think so. Oh, I have poison. Throw spear is good. Problem is now we're out of juice. Alright. Please don't die. Please don't die. Please don't die. Do the beam. There we go. Shard. Nope. Do you like gambling? Well, then I've got the game for you, friends. How would you like to gamble on a 3 to 5% chance every time we find an enemy? Place your bets. Salty bet, baby. Bet all your salty bucks and your bips and dollars. Let's go. We already have Valks. I'm good. This is a strat I always forget to use when I have invert. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Ooh. Bro, I'm so scared. I I don't think I can ever buy a 3D printer. Because if I do, I'll just be printing Warhammer models like 18 hours a day for like 4 years straight. And then I'll actually want to play, and then my life will be over. Well, yeah, because that company is like... I mean, let's be real. I mean, I think I'm getting robbed for Magic cards right now. The thing is, I still don't want to paint them, so... That's what would save me. I'd still have to pay somebody to paint them for me because I'm not painting them. Alright. Ready for this character to have invert as well? I sure am. Oh, I won't play Arena. I refuse. Oh my god, 2 seeds in a row? They gave me the Double? And I have Striders? I mean, I have Paper Magic, so, like, I have Sunk Cost Fallacy, right? But I said this to my buddy who I know through Magic, and him owning a card store, whose wedding I went to 2 weeks ago. So he was back from his honeymoon, and I talked to him for just a couple minutes on Friday. And we were talking about me picking up like a $200 foil or whatever. And I didn't have a good 2024 by any means. In terms of like monetary earnings. Things are okay now, but I mean, you know, I'm a contractor, you never know. And he was like, I know you ball out because, you know, you can and you have, but I was pretty sure you didn't want to spend $200 on this foil. And I was like, yeah, I didn't look at it. I didn't realize it was the old, you know, Judgment or whatever set it's from, Odyssey or whatever the fuck it is foil. I thought it was the Modern Horizons 3 reprint foil. So yeah, hold off. However, you know, I don't know. Maybe in a couple weeks, if it's still laying around, I might still pick it up. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But it's like, you know, I have legit, you know, 4-figure cards. You know, I have a set of dual lands. I have a Gaia's Cradle. I have a Zero Sanctum. I have a Grim Monolith. That kind of stuff. I don't have a Mishra's Workshop or a Tabernacle. I was thinking about getting them back in the day, but I decided against it. And the reason I decided against it is more because I want to sell out at some point, so I don't want to get deeper in. Because getting more expensive stuff than I already have and getting deeper in, it's just going to make it harder to get rid of everything at the end. And I'm not going to get rid of everything. I might keep some of the dual lands. I'm basically going to get rid of everything except for 1 commander deck. That's my plan. Or 2 commander decks. Because as you brought up a good point, the Doctor Who cards are awesome. I really love. I mean, the 13th Dr. Yasmin upgrades that I've done, I really, really enjoy. But, I mean, for me, Magic is dead. Like, Modern Horizons 1 was, like, the warning shot, and then Modern Horizons 2 was the kill shot. Basically, when Modern Horizons 2 came out, I played Modern for, like, another 2 months. And then I realized I never want to play 60-card Magic ever again. Not as long as Hasbro owns it or Chris Cox is in charge or whatever. And even if I decided to go back and play any 60-card Magic at all, it would be after, like, 5 years of total changes to, like, everything that they're doing right now to 60-card Magic. So I really do not have... Well, I have Throw Spear. That's... yeah. And I had Dimension Shift. What am I even doing? I guess I'm killing this guy just to see if he has a purple that can do more damage than this. Alright, this is taking too long. I have Waystones. What am I doing? This giant green circle around me is throwing me off. Is there any point in even making that? I don't think so. I can buy cursed rings. I only need one anyway, though. Ooh, chiseled right now. That's literally all I can do, right? Yeah, I'd rather wear that. The shop is ass, though. So it's a TTD, and I went back here so I can get a second book. Let me get the Smarts book. I thought about waystoning there, but this is actually, I'm pretty sure it's faster. But yeah, my plan is to only keep like 2 or 3 commander decks, I think. I'm going to keep a Warhammer one, a Doctor Who one, and then my in-universe one that I really like. I think I'm going to get rid of everything else. And what I actually might do is, since there's some crossover in the dual lands, of course, between 3 decks that are all 3 different wedges, I might just, when I trade the stuff in that I trade in, I'm going to trade it in for store credit, because it's way more money, and that way it all stays in-house in the family. And then I'm just going to spend it on, like, you know, other stuff. And then if there's anything left over, like, I'll just, like, you know, hey, get me a another underground sea and another tropical island. And then, you know, if I have any money left over from giving all my stuff to the store, then I'll be like, all right, then I'll take whatever it is, 35% or 40% in cash or whatever. Could you go F yourself, Abyssal Guardian? Thanks. Oh yeah, I guess that's it, huh? Savings for jabronis. Okay, I was kind of hoping that was going to be a health, but stuff happens. I can't believe I took the damage on that. How dare you? Do I have better armor? Yeah, technically. I should be wearing that stuff. Oh, how about we go this way? Okay. Don't do it to me, Ice Elementals. Do I have any food? No, I don't. Oh boy. Can I just get... Oh, oh, ah! Oh my god, just give me a sandwich, please. Yeah, okay, we'll use that. That's better, right? Skull Nexus is technically going to do more damage than a Curse Ring, I believe. Because we're going to be all... Oh, well... Is it, though? Does Throw Spear check physical or magic? It checks magic, right? All shards check magic, don't they? Shoot, I don't know. I need to... That's another thing. Like, when I'm out still, like, hanging out and stuff... Or if like I'm at work and all that and I have a few minutes to myself, I need to be studying too. I'm trying to take this seriously, you know? Yeah. Yeah, it's all int. That's what, yeah. So we should be... Okay, this won't be great. But it won't be... It's fast. That's what matters. Nope. Piss off, Dom. Oh, I should probably poison her, huh? Stop summoning the ghosts! Oh. Stop trying to drop bows on me. Drop bows, drop bows. Oh, why did I do that? Missed input. Ah, she got me. I was just trying to not get elbowed. That was my whole... I think I'm getting better. Does it look like I'm getting better? Ow. Ugh, my hands hurt, though. I feel like if you go watch me play, even last year, I'm way better than I was before. Yeah, which is... Why can she... Why? How can she slap? I don't think I don't think it's worth inverting. Maybe it is actually. Like right here. Maybe it's worth inverting here so you can hit her up here as easy with the spears as well. Honestly, I just hope we don't have any Unreal Engine 4 crashes. That's what I hope. I'm gonna have to remember to safety save a lot, cause who knows, man. I got an Unreal Engine 4 crash the other day. Although you have to be fucking around and like usually messing alt tabbing and stuff. So I think for the most part we're safe on that because I'll just be playing, you know, on a full screen or whatever. Okay, so what is that? That could have been like 4 minutes faster ish, 3 minutes, 4 minutes faster because I like for some reason kept going through TTD. Why did I go there? I did check Bowmore and I save split it. Yeah, like I had Gargoyle, Dimension Shift, and Safety. Like, why did I go? Why did I go past the library? I mean, going to the library makes sense, but even then it didn't make sense because I didn't have a good purple. I should have just killed Jeeble. I had throw spear already. I should have just killed Jeeble and went. I could have saved like 10 minutes. I guess in theory I went looking for accelerator. But then I didn't kill a bunch of werewolves either. I don't know. I should have just had more confidence. Like once I had no, wait, where did I find glasses? Where was glasses? Glasses was underneath the library, the OD area, right? I think in the book behind the bookcase. That's when I was technically in go. That's why I went because I was looking for real offense.